What's up YouTube? This is Brian from Bull Strength coming at you with another video, and today we're going to be talking all about the hack squat. So when we're talking about the hack squat, the first thing that comes to mind for most people is the famous hammer strength machine that's pretty much available in any gym across the country. What isn't very well known is that this exercise is actually derived from an old school strength exercise which was introduced by a Russian wrestler named George Hackenschmidt in the early 1900s. The hack squat was a staple lift and was made more popular by the king of quads himself, Tom Platz.
Hey, I'm the Tom Platz of abs. Why in the hell would I want to shrink my abs?
Oh, my bad, wrong guy. This is actually the official Tom Platz of abs.
Strength. Well, here it is.
Oh my God.
That's core strength.
The actual Tom Platz, who is referred to as the king of quads, swore by the hack squat as being a staple lift in the development of his gigantic quads. Now, if this guy tells me that in order to build big-ass quads, you need to do a bunch of hack squats, I'm probably gonna believe what he has to say. So why should you implement the hack squat into your training routine? Well, it is an excellent quad isolation exercise, and like I said, it's fully endorsed by Tom Platz, who has some of the freakiest quads that have ever existed on planet Earth. And in my opinion, it's one of, if not the best, quad isolation exercise that you can possibly do in a free weight only gym. Another advantage the hack squat has, of course, we're going to compare it to the deadlift, but if we're comparing it to a conventional deadlift, it doesn't put nearly as much stress on your hips and back, as the load of the weight is mostly handled by anterior muscles, which is why it is great for developing the quads. Alright, so let's go straight into the setup and the form. So first of all, you're going to want your feet to be about shoulder width apart, slightly more narrow, very similar to the stance that you would have in a conventional deadlift. And just like with the conventional deadlift, you're going to have your toes slightly externally rotated. As for the grip, you can choose to either do double pronated, you can strap up just like you would do with a normal deadlift, or you can use a mixed grip. If you're using a mixed grip, just keep in mind that you need to keep those triceps fully extended so that there's no angle in your elbow. The last thing you want is a bicep tear from doing this exercise. So once we have our hands on the bar, we're going to sink our hips down into a squat that's going to be slightly above parallel or at parallel. You're going to keep your chest up, your back straight, and you're going to drive with your legs, just the same as you would do with a conventional deadlift. And of course, before you lift off the ground, you want to make sure that you are braced. So in other words, taking a big breath into your diaphragm and squeeze those abs. Now the focus of this lift is going to be very heavily placed on trying to maintain a straight bar path. Some of the more common mishaps with the hack squat involve the lifter either smacking the back of their hamstrings with the bar on the way up or smashing their calves on the way down. So it is very, very important that you try to maintain a straight bar path, try to avoid those hamstrings on the way up, and definitely avoid the calves on the way down. So in other words, you want to kind of aim the barbell to hit the bottom of your butt at lockout. Now, if you're doing a hack squat like a conventional deadlift, so in other words, you're keeping the bar nice and close to your legs, you are going to smack the living shit out of your hamstrings, and there's potential that you could smash your calves on the way down. So you're going to have very sore hamstrings, but not the good kind of sore. And then of course, since this is a quad isolation movement, once you get to the very top of the lift, be sure to squeeze those quads. Now let's talk about building up to being able to do a hack squat. So assuming that your mobility isn't very good, what would you do to actually build your way up to being able to do these? So first of all, if the limitation is your squat mobility, it's pretty much always caused by having super tight ankles. So a way that you can alleviate this is to place a couple of plates under your heels, and that's going to allow you to reach depth a lot more easily. It's the same concept as wearing like Addy Powers or Ramaleos when you're doing a high bar or low bar squat. Another thing you can do is start off by doing partials. So you could pretty much do hack rack pulls. So basically you would just practice, get used to the range of motion, and you're not going to have to worry nearly as much about smacking your legs on the way up or down if you're inside of a power rack. Now, even if you do have the mobility for it and you're just not very familiar with this exercise, or you're kind of a newbie to strength training in general, I recommend that you start with lighter weight and take your time mastering the form. So most of your sets should be between 10 to 12 reps for moderate effort. You don't want to blow yourself out. You shouldn't be anywhere near failure by the end of your set. Just make sure that you are competent with your form before you go for a more challenging weight and intensity. So in conclusion, yeah, the back squat or the front squat are going to be far superior for building overall strength and power, but the hack squat could be used as a great accessory movement to get a little extra training volume on your quads. And like I said, if you're working out of a home gym or all you have access to is free weights, quad isolation is going to be a little more tricky. You got to be creative. So the hack squat would be great if you're in that type of environment. Alright, that's pretty much it for the video. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the content, please leave a like and subscribe and consider sharing this video. If you'd like to support this channel, you can do so through Patreon and Subscribestar. Links are down below, and I will see you in the next video. Peace out.